Welcome, Judith. I am delighted to be welcoming Judith Lowe to the Presenters Hot Seat this morning. You are presenting at the NLP International Conference in May, and your topic is modelling and coaching, which I think will be of great interest to all delegates. So for starters, Judith, please do tell us a little bit more about yourself and your presentation.
Okay. Hi, Karen. It's so good to see you. I'm so looking forward to the conference. It sounds really exciting this year. I hope lots of people are going to come and join us. So I'm Judith Lowe, and I'm based in London, and I've had my own NLP company for like a long time, and trained in all kinds of public, private sector coaching, training, all of those kind of usual things. But I really love NLP, and I really think that NLP, that we have the tools, Houston, we have the technology that people are really wanting right now. Yes. There's so many kind of skillful approaches to just everyday living. Yeah. In times of challenge and crisis, that people are wanting to have that. And I feel very proud of us as a field that we can actually offer this to people in many different kinds of ways. Might be a practitioner program, but it might be like an intro or work with a smaller group or a local community or something, or a local school, and that people can benefit from what we know in NLP. So I'm thrilled that you've invited me to present, and really looking forward to it. So my topic is modeling and coaching, or coaching and modeling, each sort of related to the other. What I really want to get across, I suppose, sort of big picture, is that modeling is something we're doing all the time. It's not a kind of separate thing from NLP. A lot of people tend to know NLP sort of from the techniques and from the things that they've learned on the programs. Yeah. And often people haven't had a chance to understand that what they've learned is a form of modeling. Yes. And so the very first book in NLP was, about the meta model. It was about modeling language, and language as a model of experience. And so really every time we're speaking, or we're asking questions, or we're interested in someone in any way, we're kind of wondering what their model of reality is, and what their perspective is, and how they see things, and what they're feeling. And that, in a way, is a form of modeling. Your interest and curiosity about another person's internal world is a form of modeling. Yeah. And then, of course, in NLP, we have the tools and the kind of frameworks and structure to be able to organize and find the patterns. Yes. And so all the time you're asking questions, or you're working with NLP distinctions, you're working with the kind of model of the world that someone is, generating their reality and their experience from, and the choices that they're making from that reality and from those filters. And so we're always interested in that, we're always interested in that kind of how someone's construing their sort of simulation. Yeah. And this, what is now called this kind of predictive processing, how that's running, how it's organized. Yeah. And so so often modeling, what we think of it as often in NLP, is that it's a kind of specialist thing where you do a project that takes a long time. And it's a kind of, it's an add-on. It's like, if there's time, we'll do some modeling. Whereas, as I say, the core thing of modeling originally was to look at who is an expert in any field. A lot of our field and our tools are drawn from the modeling of expert communicators, expert therapists, expert thinkers, creative people, like, how do they think? How is their inner world organized? How are they patterning reality? Yes. Such that, what they're able to do is kind of consistently extremely successful. And that's why we say in NLP, another way of talking about NLP is whatever works, because we've drawn it literally from what does work in reality out in the world with feedback systems all in place. So we've got it sort of very much evidence-led. I think the thing with modeling and coaching, so coaching is often when you know, someone's come to you and they've got some kind of maybe issue or problem or something. So in other words, we're also modeling out how has somebody organized their reality and their perceptions such that they are experiencing these kinds of difficulties and obstacles in their world, that it's impossible for them to perceive the kind of open potential, you know, of the world. They're just kind of like running along very kind of fixed, habitual, conditioned sorts of reactions and responses. And the world that is out there, or the possibilities and potential that is there, in fact, is not available to them. And so we're asking questions, and we're finding out through many, many different ways that we have in NLP, how has this happened? How has this happened that, you know, this person is literally unable to make better choices? They are making the best choices that they can, but at the moment they're constrained, you know, because of the way they're seeing things and experiencing them. And so we're building a kind of model of that all the time in coaching, through even asking people things like, you know, what's your goal? You know, for somebody to sort of tell you what their goal is, or what they want instead of their problem, or what they want to create in the world, that in itself tells you worlds and worlds about what's really going on in that person's subjective reality, and in the structure of their subjective reality. And so we're sort of in a way comparing, I think there's a kind of internal comparison with what is a kind of thriving system. You know, how do you know when you're done, you know, in coaching, where somebody is thriving, they've got, you know, they're confident and optimistic, and they've got sort of self-esteem and things like that, and they're able to kind of generate positive experiences in their world for themselves and for others, and to be duly kind of creative and make new kinds of choices for themselves that are ecological and, you know, healthy for them. So you're kind of comparing all the time what you're hearing and what the person is saying and what you're sensing from them, and comparing it against this, like, what would it be like if they were a little bit more kind of open and free and in a really sort of generative kind of state. And so I think that process of coaching all the time, you are already doing some modeling. But I think another thing about coaching and modeling is, and certainly this is something we used to do on our master practitioner, it's something I've done on recent modeling programs that I've done, even online. I did one in India a couple of years ago, and we did this with groups online, is that you, the way it goes, and I got this from Robert Dilts and Judith Lowe, from which they did a program on this like years and years ago, and it's such a brilliant idea. On our master practitioner, you spend the whole of the last days doing this. And so you would have a coaching client, and you would work with them to find what they needed. So in other words, what was the thing that was kind of missing for them? What was the capability that they did not yet have? Then, and you would each do that. Then you would go back into the group and find someone who had it. Find someone who had that. And you would model them. You would then test out the model on different people. This is why it took all day, of course. You know, it didn't in India. We did it in a slightly different way. And then you would come back at the end of the day. Each of you would come back at the end of the day and help your person get the capability that you'd modeled live in the day, especially for them at the end of the day. And it was just a kind of really, you know, wonderful. It's just a wonderful loop. Where you kind of go, this is the practical aspect of modeling, that you're coaching someone, they've got something, you go and model it from someone else, and you bring it back to them. And I really love that. It's so you know, It's so kind of complete, you know, it has this lovely sort of shape. And you're finding, I think, I mean, Bateson says about, you know, information systems, you're looking for the difference that makes the difference.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is it that really is the thing? Is it the belief someone has? Is it the kind of way they're using their visual system? Is it the way they're using their kinesthetic system? You know, is it a kind of combination of lots and lots of things? The difference that really makes the difference, like in spelling strategy, we know it's primarily that people can visualize and hold letters stable in their mind's eye. And also then the patterns that connect. And this is where people do, you know, a modeling project that involves maybe 2 or 3 or 4 exemplars. And you find out what are the key things they all do that make them, you know, successful. So I'm hoping people get excited about this and get excited about modeling, realize that they're always modeling, you know, all the time. We cannot not model in a way. We cannot not influence.
That's a really key thing, isn't it? Because it's only recently, you know, observing our 4-year-old grandson.
Yes.
You know, he's 4 years old. He's a master modeler. Because that's all they have. So to bring to awareness that actually we are modeling all the time. Yes, even when they're very small.
Yes. So tell me more about that, Karen. Do you mean that just that kind of mirroring of other people's actions and patterns?
He learns by modeling others. So he watches somebody doing something and then he knows how to do it. I mean, he's very bright. But both our grandchildren, but you know, he's very bright in that he'll observe, he'll do the observation and then he'll do it. And it's just beautiful to watch. And it was a real eye-opener for me that oh, he's 4 years old. Well, he was younger than that, and he's a master modeler. So it's just beautiful to bring to awareness that actually you're right. You know, when you actually say that, you're right. We start very young and we are doing it all the time.
I think it's innate. It's literally hardwired. I think the actual mirroring and internalization, the kind of introjection of, you know, other people. Well, we see other mammals doing it, don't we? We know that it's part of our kind of human heritage to learn this way. And I think what NLP kind of does with that is kind of take that in what you might call implicit intuitive modeling that we're all doing anyway, and we're often out of even conscious awareness, you know, we're just doing it, it's just completely intuitive, and we're able to kind of create something more explicit then that we can then kind of pass along to other people. And help other people, as we have been helped in NLP, from being able to get the best of other people's best possible patterns, you know, of success and achievement. So that must be lovely watching. I love that, actually, just watching a child just doing that and seeing them do that. Beautiful, beautiful.
And it is that awareness of and really you summed up what NLP is, because yes, we say NLP is about modeling excellence, and that's the thing, is that actually it's just breaking down that excellence into strategies and techniques that anybody can then follow.
That's right.
And that's really all NLP is in its simplest term.
It is. But that is what it is, that we're able to kind of like process that and build a kind of working model for people that they can then have, and we can keep passing it along. But I really want there to be more people who are able to call themselves modelers, you know. We did a program earlier, well, at the end of last year, Judith Lowe, Patricia Novick and I did a program called Modeling for Change in Challenging Times. And we actually did on video, we did some modeling interviews on video, and we shared them with the group in the class, and people did their own kind of little mini modeling projects, as it were. And we modeled a lot of people who were working in their communities and doing very much like we modeled you, Karen, that day at the conference.
Yes.
Here is someone who is a model of excellence, you yourself, that we modeled at the, Judy and I modeled at the conference to go, how is she thinking, and how is it that she's produced this incredible kind of conference and organization, and the kind of vision that you had. And we were able then for people to go and try out some of the key beliefs and kind of ways that you were organizing your thinking and your feelings and your pictures and your words.
Yes.
So that everyone could have a little bit of Karen, you know, which was great.
It sounds awful.
No, it was lovely, Karen. It was absolutely beautiful. It's all, I think it's a thing of beauty and absolutely lovely to have. I mean, the word privilege is used a lot, but it is a privilege to kind of, well, it's a privilege to work as a coach, and it's a privilege to work as a modeling coach, where you are also like really able to bring to light the kind of amazing range and creativity that human beings bring to the world, and the heart and soul. I mean, that's also what we of course got from you, is kind of like heart and spirit and vision. It was kind of incredible. It was lovely.
Oh, thank you. So moving on, thank you so much, Judith. I do appreciate that. Thank you. So what will delegates take away from your session?
Well, I hope they'll take away a very much renewed interest in the idea of modeling, of course, and that it's something that, as I say, that they are doing, and that they're interested, particularly those who are coaching, which in a way we're all doing aspects of coaching. Anytime you have a conversation where you are intending to somehow support and help somebody, you know, you're kind of doing a little bit of coaching. And that the idea of paying attention from a modeling perspective as well, like really understanding how has someone built their reality, what could transform that in a really helpful, positive way for somebody. I hope people will take that kind of sensibility and awareness away from them from the session, and just a kind of, you know, the joie de vivre of modeling, really, of being a human being. And there's so, you know, everybody has something, you can learn something from everyone, really.
Absolutely.
And you can give something to everyone.
Yes, well, yeah, totally agree with that. Thank you. So is there anything that delegates can do before your session, so to give them a deeper understanding or a deeper experience during your session?
I'm hoping I normally try and teach in a kind of multi-level way, so that there's something for people who know nothing, and then for all the other levels, you know, who know things. I guess if people are already kind of interested in modeling, then there are some really nice books and things like that. I mean, Robert Dilts has written a book on modeling. Fran Burgess has written an amazing encyclopedia on all the different modeling methodologies, because people have produced some different methodologies for modeling as well. So if you want to kind of go into, you know, into what other people have done, that would be amazing. But also even to just, like your grandson, you know, we used to do that walking in each other's shoes exercise. That's a modeling exercise, you know. It's a modeling exercise. What did you get from that you can use? You know, just intuitively. So I think you can play around maybe with some of your tools and approaches at whatever level you're at, but basically come as you are, you know. You're welcome if you know nothing.
Always the best way to be. So I mean, Judith, we've known each other for many years, and we've met at many conferences in the past. So just a cheeky question, what does the NLP International Conference mean to you?
Oh, Karen, well, I mean, it really means the world. I just think it's really wonderful opportunity to bring everyone, the community from NLP all together, but also to create, it creates a kind of home and a focus for the global NLP community to connect and share ideas and, you know, be kind of generative and creative together. The friendships that we have over these many years, both between trainers and between attendees and trainers. You know, I look forward to seeing so many people year after year and meeting new people. I think you've held the torch, you know, for NLP. And I think the conference, do come to the conference, everyone. It's absolutely lovely. It's so friendly. Karen and Cash and the team are so lovely. You will have the most lovely, lovely time. It's just a fantastic experience.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to remind everybody, Judith is presenting at the NLP International Conference in May. You're presenting virtually on Sunday, the 21st of May at 11 o'clock BST. It'll be a bit warmer by then, thank goodness. And your enthusiasm comes across even in a virtual environment, so it's wonderful. Your topic is modelling and coaching, or coaching and modelling, interchangeable, and so looking forward to your session in May. Thank you so much, Judith.
Thank you, Karen. Looking forward to it.